Okay, my friends, get ready to be shocked. Enceladus is a moon of Saturn, and they have just found phosphorus, which they say is a key element for life, is found on that moon, shooting jets of salty water, apparently. All right, this is a big deal to them. They have found ice, actually, ice grains spewed into space from one of this Enceladus's moons. I mean, the moon Enceladus, in their oceans. They have oceans on that moon. Now, they're saying, wow, there could be life, and why, if we found indication of life somewhere, that would sure change the whole complex of the whole world. Well, guess what? There's life everywhere. I'm going to show you Mars, and if you could possibly dismiss it, I want to know why. And it has been dismissed for the last 8 years. I've been showing this since Curiosity landed there and found the Mars crab and the Mars Morse code and the Mars blueberries, all undeniable signs of life, as you will see right now. You see this? NASA Curiosity rover may have found fossils on Mars. That's 2014. And that's the Curiosity rover. It's still up there and still working. And it's absolutely on Mars, because I can tell by the non-erosive, the non-water eroded things, and I will show you they're eroded by basically sandblasting, because that's about all that's on there. There's not enough water to create the erosion we see on Earth. Okay, this is an artery. That is a vein. This is on Mars. It is a biological planet, same as Earth. That's the blood vessels, that's the artery, that's the vein right on top of it. It's blown up. This is what it is down here. All of these here are muscle sarcomeres. See the little blocks and see the little tiny stripes? These are the blocks that pinch in, and these are the stripes of connective tissue. And this is the blood that feeds them. This is the anatomical structure I just showed you. These are the little muscle sarcomere blocks. These are the connective tissues. And the red stuff that was all over the dust, that is the actual blood cells that power the connective tissues and the muscles. This is contracted muscle. That's just loose muscle. These are the blocks, and these are all those tiny little stripes. This is another shot of it. This is the tissue, like on your skin area, and then the muscle right below it, and then a tighter shot, and then here it is, just like I showed you before. This is what's called sarcomeres. These are your muscles. That's what's on Mars. All right, this is the Mars Morse code. This is what's called interstitium. All of this is a pinched, gathered skin. This is pinched, gathered skin. This is stretched skin. And because of the environment on Mars, you see, this is the normal unstretched or unpinched skin. This is pinched, this is stretched. And because of the atmosphere on Mars, it sandblasts instead of erodes everything. So it has sandblasted the exterior of the skin down to this webbing, which is your interstitium. This allows your skin to flex and then come back. It will come back to this orientation once it's finished flexing. What happened here was everything got eroded, the cheap stuff. The stretchy straps are much less tough than the balls. The balls end up laying all over the Mars because they're the blueberries. Now let's look at the blueberries. So here I showed you the muscle, which is underneath the skin. The skin has the marbles, the blueberries, and it has the stretch marks in it. Now this is the interstitium, which I just showed you on Mars. The balls are here, the straps are the stretchy things. The gooey, floppy stuff is all that sand in the middle looking. And the straps are there and the balls are there. Some of them are squinched together, some of them are stretched apart. This is what it looks like in a human body. This is what I'm telling you, it's absolutely incredible, the size of the things that are on Mars and on Earth. These are the Moki marbles, the same exact thing as the Mars blueberries. They are interstitium balls. Here they are again, a little bit bigger off the cliff from Hunstanton Beach or Hunstanton Cliffs in the United Kingdom. These are the same as these balls, only they're bigger. The mud, which is the red part, turns into mud. The skin is up here. It's just what it is. If you can dismiss it, dismiss it. But this is real. I know it's real, and it's if you can't understand what you're looking at, then that's your issue, not mine. We have to take into account these things are all biological. Earth literally was a biological creature. So is Mars, and I imagine all the rest of them. I'm just telling you what the facts are. If you can deal with it, deal with it. If you can't deal with it, go back to college. Okay, here's the Mars blueberries. These are on Mars. The other ones are the Moki marbles in, I think it's Arizona or Utah. They're all over the place out there. It's just nothing more than skin. All right, don't forget, this is what sarcomeres look like. These are the sarcomeres. This is the blood that supplies them. I have one in my shop here that is identical to this. Problem is they don't understand mud fossils, and I don't see any interest in trying to understand them. This is a mud fossil from Earth. This is the bone that was back here. This is tendon, and then it runs into muscle. This is an abrupt transition. Right up there was originally completely saturated with blood, just like it was on Mars, the Mars crab. And all the legs would have been sticking out like this all over, same as it was there. And this is muscle that it was servicing. Of course, you can't see the sarcomeres because it's just not big enough. But out there, it is big enough. And on Earth, you can see them all over the place, too. You want to take a look at Petra? I'll show you some sarcomeres. Before we go to Petra, I want to show you how off they are on their timelines. This is millions of years in one picture. This is an abrupt transition from a tendon. This right here is the tendinous stalk, the center. These are all little layers of connective tissue, and this was where the abrupt transition and the muscle would have started, which is very weak. It erodes away. The other side was where the bone ball was, and that has eroded away as well. You see this circle and this stalk? That is the key to a tendon. And here is the tendon we just looked at. The abrupt transitions here. You see how it turns from brown to pink? This is muscle. Erodes away fairly easily. This, no. This right here is that circle I showed you and the main branch of the connective tissue. The rest is all connective tissue. Tendon. Tendon is altogether different than the rest of the stuff. Tendon is tough, and that's why it's still standing in the middle of the ocean. That is the piece that's in the middle of the ocean. All right, so millions of years in one picture? No. This was when this creature died, however long that took. This is eventually eroded away. I mean, this is all that's left of that creature's body. These are more gigantic sarcomeres on Mars. There's the breaks. There's all the connective tissues. The black is vein blood. The red is the red blood, the artery blood. We live in a creature universe. As far as I can determine, I can find nothing that isn't alive or it was alive at one time. Now you saw my muscle sample here on Earth. This is the abrupt transition. This is the connective tissue, and then it starts off into the ruddy red muscle. Here it is. This is a mountain, I think somewhere out west somewhere. But, I mean, they're everywhere, so they're not hard to find. Okay, you know what sarcomeres look like. That's what they are right here. These are the sarcomere blocks. You see them? These are pinch, and I'm going to show you, there's just walls of them. This was carved from literally artery. This is literally blood. This is what's above Petra in the hills up there. This is all connective tissue and muscle above Petra and all in the walls of Petra. This is an arterial passageway. I'll show you the full scheme. All right, there is Petra. Let's look at it close. You see where Petra is? You see that big gouge, this, and then this here? Those are arterial passageways, probably blood vessels, or they could be continuously arteries, but this is the main feed artery, and this is nothing but blood, 100% saturated blood. They carved it just like they were carving putty, because blood, when it dries out, is nothing more than clay, which is nothing more than putty. These hills were fed with blood, and all of these sarcomeres, all over here, these are all sarcomeres. You see them in there? Those are all sarcomeres, those blocks. This whole area was one gigantic piece of muscle, and they carved this temple in the midst of it. Let's call it the treasury. And this is inside Petra. That is muscle. These are sarcomere connective tissues, blood. That's all it is. And it was carved when it was probably somewhat still semi-moist, I would assume. I mean, it looks like it was fairly easy to carve, and they did a magnificent job. All right, my friends, I don't want to belabor this whole thing. This is the Mars Morse code. These are the Mars blueberries, and it's saturated with life up there. There's sarcomeres everywhere. I just showed you everything you need to see, and if you can't handle it, I can't help you handle it. You have to sit down, watch, think, and don't just turn your mind off, because we don't understand our past even the tiniest little bit now. It's all wide open and easy to understand, and we're going to have a big, long series about this. I have other people that I'm going to be discussing these stories with about our ancient past and what it says in these ancient texts. And we're going to compare every religion, because every religion talks about how all of this stuff came to be. And they're all pretty darn close when you look at them. And it's very, very fascinating. It's something that nobody's ever known about. We're talking about mysteries on steroids, my friends. So stick around, get all your friends to pay attention to this, because otherwise you're going to be one sitting in a corner saying, I know reality, I know reality. And they're going to say, tell the guy to sit in the corner, you're an idiot. Start pumping this out. We need thumbs up. We need subscriptions. We need interface with everybody. And I've got a guy that's doing excellent organization work and creating the documents we're going to need to put this into the mainstream, where we can send it to all the geologists. And then we will find out who is a true geologist and who isn't. That's my last word. I love you guys, and we're going to have a fabulous time with this new series. So make sure you get everybody involved, because you can stand up for yourself. What I'm showing you, if you can't stand up and say this is real, then you are the most timid person in the world. I originally, when I first found this stuff, I was scared to even open my mouth. And my lips shake a little bit when I did it in the beginning, but they don't shake anymore. Everybody else's lips shake now.